Babes, how we doing? We got a 2 week break. I think in some ways it's kind of worth it because we finally have a solid introduction. We have the literal lay of the land of Elbaf. But before I get into that, tomorrow I am running my first marathon ever. Hopefully my last one as well. I feel good. Honestly, I'm really not nervous even though it's tomorrow and I plan on winning this thing. But yeah, so be on the lookout for that. For those of you who don't know me personally, you'll be getting news next week probably. I mean, we have 2 weeks off. 2 week break is a long time. Is a long time. I hear the anime is also taking a break till for like a minute, for like a while, and they're rehashing all of. Somebody legit might have said April or something like that. They're rehashing all of Fishman, I believe is what they're doing. Yeah, April 2025, which is insane. But like I said, they were catching up too quick. And considering the manga is going to be on a 2 week break and we got to get into Elbaf, and they're kind of at the hype, and the animation studio that's going to have to, they're not taking a break. The animation studio having to work on the rest of Egghead is going to be insane. Insane. And my estimation of 2030, it always seems to get a little bit further, but I'll keep it there. I'll keep it there as my overall guess for when One Piece is kind of going to end. But even just thinking about it, because I was like reviewing some stuff earlier in the year, and at the beginning of this year, Murakuma was out punching the Elder, and now we're like just starting Elbaf at the end of this year, So we'll see. But this is a very good chapter, a very entertaining chapter, and there's a lot to talk about. There really is a lot to talk about. Finally, something happens in Yamato's journey. Someone stole the katana. Probably not a big deal, but I'm pointing it out anyway. The Straw Hats, the late introduction Straw Hats, are calling off the search. They're like, he'll be fine. We get separated all the time. This is kind of just what we do. This is what we do, and this is who we are. We finally get a look into Elbaf, and I like it. I like it a lot. I'll talk about the layout at the end because we get the full picture of it, but it looks beautiful to me. We get a couple of giants for the new giant pirates. I think that this was already touched on, I want to say, in Dressrosa, where Harujin was already the leader of that. And it seems like he's the leader of like the whole island. I don't know if he's making all the decisions though, because if he doesn't get the right to go and rescue the Straw Hats like he wanted to, but maybe he has to stay there because he is royalty. It's interesting. But for him to have left to Dressrosa and to have almost been forgotten for good would have maybe been fucking awful for Elbaf as an entire society. Goldberg and Gerd, Goldberg named after the wrestler. I feel like I've seen him before. Am I crazy? Have we seen him? Maybe not, but he looks familiar. And he looks like a giant, so that's pretty sweet. We got Usopp continuing to bitch and moan and cry and shit, which at this point we have to be used to, right? I mean, that's not something super surprising. This island, I mean, what Oda does really well is he still manages to make each island look terrifying or scary in its own way. And I think that giant wolves is a way to do that. Of course, it really wouldn't be much of a problem for hardly anyone except Usopp. Maybe Chopper a little bit, but yeah. And I think giganticism, which maybe is my guess, I literally just read it just came out. Giganticism is like a big deal. Like it's showing you how strong people are because they're giants. Giants is strength. Like being giant is broken. And you can see that through the history of One Piece. I don't really have to explain that. But Luffy says something really interesting here. He's getting goosebumps. I don't even remember Kaido giving him goosebumps. Do you? I mean, do you remember anybody giving him goosebumps? Anybody at any point? You tell me. But he's getting legit goosebumps, which I think is related, obviously, to kings, conquerors. I think it has to be. I think him being able to feel that hockey conquers is the only one that people are really feeling at this point. And I think this dude has it in spades. But he goes and he jumps into the forest. I think that we're going to get another split off here. I don't think they're really going to join him. I think that they're going to continue forward into what seems like the city of Elbaf. And right now they're wanted. They're wanted. And the people who know that they're good are probably not going to be seen like Harujin for a little bit. And on the way like Dorian Bragi. Speaking of which, they got new bounties. An insane jump, but inflation is very real. And because inflation's real, so is the worth of these guys. But jumping from 100 mil to 1.8 bill, it is fucking insane. Of course, I think that was like 100 years ago. So literally inflation in One Piece. That's what we're seeing here. I think that they're worth the bounties, I guess. I mean, it's kind of like whatever at this point. You could give somebody a ridiculous bounty and I'm not going to lose it too much. Bounties are just kind of there for us to splurge on now, it seems. I mean, it doesn't seem like anybody's ever cashed on a bounty. How much it relates to strength is questionable, just because we know that the government and the news are so biased that they're going to say whatever. Like Luffy killed Vegapunk, which we already knew. But that's what the world sees. And something that was interesting that they took an entire page to talk about was the X on his arm. Of course, these are all post-Alabastan crewmates. Literally just post for Robin. But that's what they held up, and they were like, we're a team. Now, allow me to dig deeper than I should here, but I kind of believe that this is his freedom form. It can almost like take on what's important in that moment, or it can encapsulate what it means to be free. There's something in relation to Vivi for this specific mark at this specific time, because as far as I know, this is the first time that we've seen it. The first time we've seen it, we've seen him put on his scars. We've seen him do a lot of different things, but for him to just kind of show that, it has to play into Vivi in some way. It has to. I feel like it almost has to. Like whether he's super worried about her, whether the fruit has some type of connection to whatever Vivi is, because obviously she's special, but that X is definitely meaning something. It means something for sure. I like how Robin says it looks familiar. She wouldn't really know that. She really wouldn't know that. I mean, she would maybe know that. Mr. 2 would know that. I don't think he reported back that that's the case with the X's, but there you go. But we learn more about Hiruzen. I do like the fact that he's more important. That he is the prince of the deceased king, of Harold, which I believe is correct. He killed this man. His desire to eat the fruit was so great that he killed his own father. What this fruit is, I don't know, but I'm excited. If it makes a giant even more gigantic, that'd be kind of crazy. The only reason I had that thought is because of the final sword in the final panel. But it's interesting to see. They say if you release Loki, that'll be the end of everything. The end of everything. So I don't know what that fruit is. I mean, early on, Oda took a Logia perspective on those being very broken. I think the further that we've gotten, we see that Logias debatably might be the worst in terms of full potential. Logias are like phenomenal off rip. Like if you're just like born, you eat a fruit, it's a Logia, you're broken, you're probably the best dude on that island, and nobody's probably even doing anything. Now that hockey's become much more regular in the new world, it's not as good. It's not as good. It's still very good. I mean, especially in an Admiral level, it's still very good, as you can see. But at these high levels, Paramecias seem kind of silly, kind of ridiculous. And then for Zoans, you get these half transformations, which are nuts, which I kind of believe that we've seen. It's tough to say with the fucking Gorosei, but I feel like we've seen the pinnacle with Kaido, and that was all Kaido's thing is Zoans. And Paramecias, I think we're really going to delve into here at the end of One Piece. But it's got to be some type of Paramecian. I just don't know what. I just don't know what he's going to be capable of doing. Maybe creating shit. I don't know. But it's going to be pretty sweet to see. Luffy's in front of him, and I love the design. I hope you guys do too, because I think that design's pretty fucking sweet. No eyes. They got him in what I believe to be the Sea Prism Stone, which I believe means that he's already eaten the fruit. They kind of like heavily implied it, but they never really said it. But yes, I believe that he's eaten the fruit because Hiruzen has not. Hiruzen got bodied back in Dressrosa. But I believe this man's eaten the fruit, but they have him locked up. It took the entire island to do so, which is insane because, like I said earlier, giants are supposed to be these broken creatures. Phenomenal design. I'm excited to see what he looks like when he's fully up and running. Knowing Luffy, he's going to release him. He's going to release him, and we're going to see that Loki is probably the bad guy of this island, which I can't prove it. It was many videos ago, but I said that. I already said that. I think Loki is going to be kind of the bad guy turned good guy. I think Luffy's going to meet him halfway, and he's going to be like, you know what? All right. The world's going to shit. Let's see what see what it's all about. Like the idea of him being a king and being in charge of Elbaf is not enough for him. He also probably wants to be king of the world. And I like this. I like this interaction. I think we're starting off here on a great foot, a giant foot, if you will. He even says, I'm going to be king of the pirates. He's like, king, huh? Interesting. He's like, where are we? And then we get a beautiful shot of Elbaf, which is interesting because ELBAF is what I've been seeing for a minute, but I'm pretty sure when it was first introduced on Little Garden, it was ELBAPH, Elbaf, which is sweet. It says it's the birthplace of war. We see that they started very much at the bottom or the beginning of this island. The island looks sweet. A gigantic tree, which I love, a gigantic sword in that, with kind of the defenses and city in the middle. There's probably going to be some more stuff in the tree. At the top, reminds me a lot of Zoe. Just gigantic. I'm excited to see what Elbaf has to offer. And I think now that it's all been set and Loki is out and about, I'm excited. Elbaf's going to be sweet. I hope you guys think so too. And I hope you have a blessed weekend. Wish me luck for tomorrow. And I will catch you next week. Hopefully. What do we talk about? Like I said, we could go back and talk about anything that happened during Egghead, but lots to talk about. Shouts to Loki. Catch you guys later. Peace.